Blondie and welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I like to talk about spirituality, I like to talk about chakras, crystals, personal development, really anything spiritual. I like to talk about it. So today's video, I would like to talk about anger. Now, anger kind of has a bad reputation in society right now, and I really dislike that because anger isn't a bad emotion. But the way that people are displaying anger in society right now, that's a problem. And that's where anger is getting its bad reputation. So I want to break down anger a little bit today, give you a little bit of information on myself and how I deal with anger, how I've dealt with it in the past versus what I'm trying to do now. There's 3 different types of anger, so we're going to talk about those 3 today. And then I'm going to show you how I decided to take out my anger in a really healthy way. Expressing anger is very healthy and very important. When we don't express anger, when we hold it in, or when we just blow up and rage it out, we're creating disease, okay? Literal dis-ease in our body. We're not at ease. And this dis-ease creates disease. It creates imbalances in our body. It can make us physically ill. It can make us mentally ill. And anger, I feel, is a pretty big problem in society right now. And it's not the anger that's the problem. It's the way that we're choosing to deal with it. It's the way that we've been taught to deal with it. It's the way that society has said, this is what anger looks like. And it's not true. Anger doesn't have to look like rage. There's 3 types of anger that I want to talk about today. The first one is passive aggression. Passive aggression is a person who doesn't like to admit that they're angry. So this is someone who kind of pushes their angry feelings down. They don't talk about it. They're usually people that don't like confrontation. So rather than expressing that they're angry, they keep it to themselves. Passive aggression might look like silence. It might look like being withdrawn. It could look like sulking. It could look like procrastination. Basically, passive aggression is pretending that everything's okay when it's really not. This type of display of anger comes from a need to be in control. So it's wanting to control your emotions and wanting to control the perception that others have of you. So passive aggression is taking your anger and putting it internal and trying to shove it, push it down, not experience it, and just ignore it, pretend it's not there, pretend it doesn't exist. And this is not a healthy way to deal with anger. This is a way that really, really creates disease in our body. The second type of anger is open aggression. So this could look like rage. It could look like bullying, lashing out. It can be physical or verbal, so it could look like punching, hitting, fighting, or it could look like blackmail. It could look like sarcasm, criticism. So the difference between passive and open is passive is like bringing it all internal, and open is placing it external. So it could look like blame as well. And displaying your anger in this way really puts you at risk for hurting yourself and also hurting other people. And that's not what we want to do, right? Like, we're all out here trying our best, doing our best with the tools and skills that we have. It also comes from a place of needing control. Whereas passive was more about controlling the self, open tends to be a little bit more about controlling the external, controlling other people or controlling situations. And passive is about controlling situations as well. The third type of anger that I want to talk about is assertive anger. Now, this is like the ideal. This is the healthy way to communicate your anger. And this looks like talking and listening. It looks like thinking before we speak. It looks like being open and flexible and really working with both parties or multiple parties, whatever the situation may be. It looks like trying to find a middle ground. It's not about placing blame and it's not about holding things in. It's about discussion and coming to a conclusion where all sides are happy or all sides feel screwed. I've heard that one before as well, where everyone feels like something has been taken from them, but something has been given as well. Assertive anger also looks like patience. It looks like communicating feelings. So a big part of this is not placing the blame, being confident enough to speak your truth in a positive, healthy, constructive kind of way. A big one for for moving into assertive anger is using I statements and telling people, you know, I feel this way, rather than a blame, kind of like you did this. And a really great tool, kind of trick that I learned, was a documentary on Netflix, Brene Brown, Call to Courage. And she had kind of a phrase, a line that she would use. This is the story I'm telling myself. And communicating her feelings that way, so that the other person doesn't feel like they're being blamed, like you did this to me, because that creates defensiveness, and defensiveness will then lead to arguments and whatnot. So by saying, you know, the story I'm telling myself is, you are opening up the door to communicate your feelings and allowing the other person to respond in a way that's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to make you feel that way, or that wasn't my intention, or I didn't realize that my action would make you think that way. It's having that open communication and just talking things through rather than holding it in, which I'm guilty for and I'm working on, or projecting it onto other people. And yeah, assertive anger, it is like, it's the mature way to deal with things. It's definitely not the easiest way. It does take a little bit of learning, and something else I would suggest too is not trying to resolve the conflict right away. A big part of assertive anger, I feel anyway, is taking that time apart, taking that space from the other person or multiple people, and letting yourself sit and think and reflect upon, okay, what exactly was it about that triggered me, or how did I add to that situation? How did I make it worse? And taking that moment to reflect alone before you go out and try and fix everything. This allows for people to calm themselves, you to calm yourself, get into a level head, and then it's more likely that you'll be able to assert your anger rather than passive aggression or open aggression. So that's a little bit about the 3 types of anger. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I decided to display my anger. I've been very passive about my anger probably most of my life, and it just comes from a place of not liking conflict. Recently, I started seeing a holistic counselor, and she's been helping me deal with some of the emotions that I have pushed down. They're starting to resurface, and I'm not always sure what to do with them. So she's been a great resource for me. You know, healers need healing too. So some people think that that's kind of strange, that they're like, well, you're a healer, can't you do it on your own? And it's like, no, it's like everything else. Counselors have counselors, that type of thing. Anyway, yeah, I didn't even realize how much anger I had. I just thought I was someone who didn't get very angry, which isn't true at all. I just pushed it down and hid it really, really well. So well that I wasn't even aware of it. So that's something I've been talking to her about, of how I've pushed that down and how it's starting to manifest into my physical body. She did some energy work for me, and that's been really awesome. But the best part has been my homework. So she suggested that I scream in my car. Now, I am not one to yell and scream. When I feel angry, like I said, I'm passive. I turn in, I push it down. I might get sad. For me, anger tends to look like frustration, and it's more frustration with myself because I know that I should be communicating, but something holds me back. I have that anxiety, that kind of fear of conflict, so it turns into conflict in my head. So I'm fighting with myself, which isn't healthy at all. So yeah, she suggested that I release the anger outside of my body. So I needed to do something physical with it because I wasn't able to handle all of the things that were going on in my head, that inner conflict and fighting with myself. So yeah, the screaming in the car has been strange and it's been different, but I'm not gonna lie to you, after I let out just a kind of scream in my car, I feel weird and I feel like people might be staring at me, but I also feel kind of like a confidence, like I'm sitting a little bit taller. So I'd recommend that to anyone who has not tried it, who's been struggling with anger. anything like that, I would recommend you trying to scream. Yeah, just kind of see how that feels for you. Had some angelic Reiki and some crystal grids done on me, and when you work with energy in that way and you're really releasing and focused on releasing certain energies from your body, you could feel like a little funny the next couple days. So the next day I felt like amazing. I felt really good and happy, and then the day after that I started feeling some of that like residual energy start to come up. It was bubbling up. It was some anger. It was just some yucky emotion that I didn't want in my body. So I was like, you know, I think I need something more than screaming today. So I went to Value Village. I bought a bunch of glasses, vases and things, and I came home and I smashed them to shit. And it felt really, really good. I'd never done anything like that. I like I said, I don't really express my anger. It's something very, very internal and personal for me. So this was exciting, and it was weird, and it was fun. So I'll share that video with you. Super fun and exciting, and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to try it. It was a great experience. I really felt just like powerful and strong, and a release, and I just got to break things and watch them smash. Cleaning it up took a little longer than I thought, and it wasn't all that fun. Only suggestions would be, I didn't wear gloves while I was smashing things, and I ended up getting like a few cuts on my fingers, a couple on my legs, and I found a piece of glass in my shoe. Luckily it didn't cut me, but anyone who's doing this at home, I suggest you wear a little bit more protective gear than I did. So yeah, that was amazing, and anyone who has done anything super cool to release their anger, if you could comment that down below, and we could kind of start and ideas of anger releasing activities, healthy anger releasing activities. I think that would be really great for everyone watching to kind of hear those fun stories and have some tips too. So that would be really awesome if you could comment down below how you express your anger in a healthy way. The last thing I want to touch on before you go is forgiveness. So a big part of anger is also being able to forgive. So for me, it was forgiveness of myself, because I didn't usually express my anger. Like I said, it was a very internal experience. It was a lot of inner conflict and fighting with myself. So I did a forgiveness ritual, which I'll go into in detail in another video, but basically I just kind of wrote out, I forgive myself for. And you could do this with other people as well. So if someone has really hurt you, made you really angry, just writing out or speaking to yourself that you forgive that person, and just really, really pushing and releasing the last pieces of that anger out of your body. When we don't forgive, then resentment comes up, and then again, it can create disease in our body. and we don't want that. So forgiveness is a really powerful tool in releasing anger. And I also want to give you a couple crystal suggestions. So if you have been feeling a lot of anger lately or want to start reflecting upon your anger, dealing with it in a different way, I want to give you 3 crystals that can help you do that. So first one is amethyst. Look at that beautiful piece. So amethyst is really good for helping you reduce inflamed emotion. So anger is an emotion that tends to get inflamed, and that's where a lot of the rage comes from, the frustration, tears, screaming, crying. All of that is like really inflamed emotion. So holding on to a piece of amethyst while you meditate, or just throwing it in your pocket throughout the day and just thinking about what it's doing for you is really good for promoting more peace in your life. One of my favorite crystals to work with when I'm feeling a lot of anger, and I worked with this one too in my forgiveness ritual, is rose quartz. Now, that is a really big chunk. This is a raw piece, but they can also look like these guys, just those really tiny tumbled stones. Quartz works with the heart chakra. Oh, and I actually have rose quartz around my neck right now too. And rose quartz works really well with the heart chakra. So if you're doing a meditation, really holding that over your heart chakra and visualizing it just calming and peace. Rose quartz is really good for promoting self-love and also love for others. So when we're feeling angry, kind of bringing us back to that place of peace and love for ourselves and other people. Rose quartz is great for eliminating aggression. It's great for deleting jealousy. If you're someone who experiences jealousy often or more than you'd like to, rose quartz is a really great one for that as well. And also great for preventing feelings of resentment. So forgiveness ceremony, I said I used this one in my forgiveness ceremony, and that's a really big part of forgiveness, is not holding on to that resentment. So the last crystal that I want to talk to you about for anger is carnelian. So that's carnelian. Those are just some tumbled pieces. Carnelian is really great for helping you be more assertive. So if you're someone who's very passive with your anger, hold on to some carnelian if you know that you are going to confront someone, if you know that you're going to have like a deep conversation about a situation that happened. Carnelian's really great for raising your confidence for that. Carnelian also helps you in making decisions. It's related to the sacral chakra, which is about choices. Helps you express your opinions in a way that is calm but also assertive. It helps you to be more confident in expressing your opinions and helps you to work as a team. So it'll help you to be more likely to kind of do the give and take dance, which is really important in conflict resolution. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video about anger, how to express anger in a healthy way. I wish you luck. I want to shout out to everyone who has liked, subscribed, followed me. It means so much that my channel is growing. And yeah, I've been a little MIA lately just because I've started a new job and I have been doing a lot of inner work on anger. Things have just been really busy and I'm trying to find my balance, but we're in Libra season now, which is all about balance, and I've been feeling a lot better the last couple days. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to hearing your stories of screaming, smashing, whatever it is. I can't wait to hear about it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and join my Brightside tribe. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.